What's up guys, your driver Mike here, back with another video. And we touched on Uber last time, a previous video, number 1 tips for Uber drivers. So this video, of course, we got to show some love to the Lyft side of things. So today we're talking everything Lyft, strategy, and new developments. So Lyft, in comparison to Uber, if you're not already driving Lyft, ideally you're going to be driving both Uber and Lyft. That's going to pull from a bigger passenger pool. It's going to cause you to be more busy, and it's going to cause you to be able to choose strategically which ride you would prefer should you get simultaneous requests. And quickly here, guys, acceptance rate doesn't matter towards deactivation. Okay, for Uber or Lyft's policy, you cannot be deactivated for your acceptance rate, so that is completely okay. If you have 2 rides come in, or even if you have any ride come in on either app, you are allowed to reject them for whatever reason, too far away. Now for both, the rates are pretty comparable, okay? You can open either app and the rates are pretty much gonna be the same, at least here in Pittsburgh it is. So the cost per mile isn't really gonna differ for your profits, so don't worry about that. So demand-wise, you're gonna see less demand with Lyft. You're gonna see more demand with Uber. Pay is the same across each, okay? Let's talk about actual demand. And there's actually a good video on this going over the difference between Uber Surge and Lyft Prime Time, which is Lyft's equivalent. So what's new with Lyft, right? Well, they actually had somewhat of a redesign for their logoing. Actually, when they first launched, you may remember they had the Cuddle Stash, which is the fuzzy pink mustache that drivers would attach to their front bumper, front grille of their car. Pretty noticeable, but that's the whole idea, I suppose. And then they streamlined it to the Glow Stash. So this is the Lyft Glow Stash, and actually this is discontinued as of last month or so. Lyft is going away from the Glow Stash, and they are having the Lyft Amp, AMP. Lyft Amp is their new device. Now, I don't have one here. They haven't launched yet here in Pittsburgh, but I know some West Coast markets, you guys may already have this. But basically, it's going to display a personalized message on the back, and it's going to have a different color spectrum on the front. And let's see if we can get this lit here. Okay, I'm going to have to turn the lights off, but that is the Lyft Glow Stash. So this would be affixed on top of your dash, indicating that you are a Lyft driver. This is given to drivers who have done over 150 rides, and I believe have gotten a 4.8 or higher. So it's given to more top-level drivers, and can't get this anymore. Unfortunately, I kind of like it. It looks kind of nice at night, especially for me. I'm driving exclusively at nights, but this is discontinued. But this is the next kind of emblem they went with after the Cuddle Stash. So the Lyft Glow Stash, actually not official trade dress for city driving. Trade dress is a logoing or some kind of benchmark for your transportation commission or city to determine that you are an official transportation vehicle. So this is not official trade dress. I'll check on the amp for you guys, but for the Glow Stash, this does not count. You actually have to have the official trade dress that they would give you when you start driving. So this is the official Lyft trade dress, and you can think of this as kind of a generation 1, maybe. Maybe there was one before this, but this is the one that I have, and this is what they give you when you first start driving. This is what is going to officially show that you are an approved Lyft driver, you're on the Lyft platform. It's also going to count as a system of a check for your passengers. So when your passenger sees the car pull up, they can identify it as a Lyft car. So reflective front, because you want to see this from a distance, of course. And you got the Lyft branding there, keeping with their kind of pink color palette. It's kind of a metallic silver here on the front. The back, they actually do have some branding on the back here, and I think that slogan is actually going to vary depending on which one they give you, but they do have some branding on the back. Good idea. for passengers that are sitting in the car, they can see even more branding. Now, like the glow stash, and really a lot of the reason why we're doing this video now is to tell you guys that Lyft is changing some of their branding, okay? This is discontinued as well. So I actually got a new one in the mail a couple weeks ago, and let's check it out. All right, so this is what I got in the mail from Lyft, as you can clearly tell. Going with the pink mantra, of course, coming in your mailbox. We got, yeah, you can see I already opened it, of course. Had to check it out. I've got a little branding on the back there. So this is, well, this contains their new branding, okay? Kind of their new logoing. And we mentioned the pink color palette. You can see that they have kind of a purple color hue in there now. So you can actually see it right there, more in the flap there. They're moving away from the all pink palette, and they're doing some kind of a purple, and even their logoing, which we're going to see, they are incorporating more purples and more pinks. Doesn't really matter for us, but it's good to know in case passengers ask why the change. It's just kind of a branding change for them. So let's check this out. Okay, here's the front. We got drive, earn, repeat. But first you got to use these. Here we go. Here is the new logo. And actually you can see a lot of the purple on the outside there. So this is the new branding, logoing, you can think of it, for Lyft. Okay. And actually the shape is kind of cool because it matches the kind of footprint of the amp, which is a similar kind of footprint. So it matches that. Nice kind of pairing there for the branding. The color definitely got more red in it. Kind of a, maybe a red pink. I'm not sure what you guys can make on the video there. So you can see there's two. All right, well, why is there two? Most cities are now requiring that you have to have branding or trade dress on the front windshield as well as the back windshield. Okay, so again, you need both of these. Okay, check with your city, but to be safe, this one goes on the bottom right, when viewed from the driver's seat, the bottom right of the windshield in front of the passenger, basically near the bottom. And this is going to go on the back. And actually, let me check here. The back windshield, same thing. Okay, back windshield, they're showing bottom right as well. And actually, it kind of makes sense. For safety reasons, cars behind you can easily identify that you're a Lyft driver. We do make frequent stops. Now, tip, always put your four-ways on well ahead of the stop so you're not immediately slamming on your brakes for the car behind you. About like 15, 20 feet, just put your four-ways on and gradually slow down and then move over and legally park. Always legally, find a spot. If you can't find a spot, circle the block, give the passengers a call or text, park when you do that, of course, just to let them know that there isn't parking immediately available where they're at. Now, these are also highly reflective. It's got kind of a, I don't know if you can see that, kind of has a metal, well, not metallic finish to them as well. It's got a little pull tab here too. And I'm told that these are more window cling-like and not sticker-like. And you can see I haven't taken them off yet because I don't want them to be stickers and not be able to remove them from the car. But I don't think you're going to have a problem with that. I'm pretty sure that these are window clings. I'll have to check it out. All right, that's it for a little bit of the background and branding just because they just changed for Lyft. So let's talk about strategy. Let's get to that number one tip for Lyft drivers. So in our Uber video, we talked about staying offline while you drive to a surge that is 3 to 5 minutes away, okay? Lyft has prime time. Prime time is their surge equivalent, showing areas of higher demand. It's gonna show a pink rectangle, and it's gonna show you the percent multiplier for the demand rate, and you can check out the video that we did on that, just to get more of a background on the difference between surge and prime time. So we're focusing on prime time here, much like we did in the Uber video. So prime time, you are sitting near or in, let's say, areas of high demand, of those pink squares. What you want to do is not anticipate that it's going to have prime time. Okay, really, you have to assume that you may not get prime time. Again, check out those previous videos to see what I mean by that. But you may not always get prime time when you're in or near those pink squares or rectangles. You may not always get that prime time. Okay, so what you need to do, and this is my tip for you guys, is you need to only anticipate prime time or only go online when you are in areas of absolute prime time. Okay, what does that mean? You can't rely on one or two squares on the map for prime time. Okay, you can't rely on just one or two spots because you may not get it and you're not in an area of high enough demand. Okay, you can only anticipate prime time when you're in an area of massive demand. Okay, if you're talking profits, if you're talking about trying to earn the most, again, you may want to take that guaranteed Uber surge, and this is why you drive both. But you're going to see that multiplier on Uber, and you know it's going to be a 2.5. Okay, maybe the Lyft app is showing 250%. Okay, that's going to be a 3.5. Now you get a Lyft request. You don't know if it has prime time or not until after the ride. Should you take that? Because it could be a 3.5, or should you take the Uber request that you've been getting, or you may just get after, for a 2.5? In my opinion, you should take that 2.5, okay? Because you don't know what the prime time is going to be. And let's say you're even driving a massive football game or a huge concert where there's pink all over the place, there is huge prime time. You're still not guaranteed that maximum prime time rate. It says 350%. You may not get that. Lyft can say, well, demand changed when you got that request. So you really have to be careful with prime time. The only time you should really take a Lyft prime time, and I mean, you can definitely take it when there's other areas of demand, but you shouldn't count on it. What I'm saying is the only time you should really count on high prime time is when you're in an area of massive saturation of prime time. Then it can be okay, but you may not get the highest multiplier for prime time. You could be in an area of massive saturation in prime time. Everywhere could be dark pink. Everywhere could be showing extremely high demand. Let's say the prime time rate is 400%. It is a 5x Uber equivalent. That's fantastic. You get the request. It could be in that area of mass saturation, and it could only be 250%. Or maybe 150%. It could happen. It's just you can't be certain that you're going to get that highest multiplier. So you need to drive both Uber and Lyft. You can take those Lyft prime time requests if you're in an area of massive saturation and you're comfortable with what the prime time may be, but you may want to take the guaranteed Uber surge if there's Uber surge as well, because you can guarantee that surge amount. Again, if you're driving those prime time runs, you are in no way guaranteed a certain multiplier. It may even be zero. I've had it myself. It may even be zero. They could say, well, demand dropped off suddenly. Passengers didn't need rides anymore. All right, that's it for today, guys. Kind of a tricky tip. It's definitely a strategy move, and I'm obviously leaning towards those guaranteed surge rates. It's your call. You know, if you see patterns in your market, if you know that those multipliers for prime time are good, and you feel confident taking those prime time runs, you can definitely go for it, you know, and check what it is after and let me know. You know, put a comment below. Let me know if you're experiencing shortages in prime time. Are you not getting prime time? Are you getting a prime time that is drastically lower than what you thought it may be? You thought you were getting a 500% prime time. You got a 200? You know, let me know and let other drivers know. All right, guys, thanks for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.